Albert Levine's The Picture of Dorian Gray is a mostly black and white US horror film from 1945 and considered the first sound adaptation of the same-named excellent classic of Gothic literature from 1890, the only novel by Irish writer Oscar Wilde. Received mostly positive reviews but only made just under $3 million on a $2 million budget, and according to MGM made a loss of $26,000. Before 1945, there were silent film adaptations from several countries, some in feature length, and most of them considered lost, apart from the 22-minute US film from 1915. In this much shortened version of the story, Dorian, as in the original, asks for the hand of a Shakespearean actress and wants his friends to see her on stage. When his presence, because she loves him, causes her to waver, resulting in a bad performance, he leaves her, whereupon she takes her own life. This seems not to affect him, but leaves traces in the picture, shown here with a photograph. He takes drugs and behaves more and more selfishly and recklessly over the years, while the picture becomes uglier and uglier, and dies trying to destroy it. While Basil Hallworth is painting a portrait of him, the young Dorian Gray meets his friend Lord Henry Wotton, who convinces him that youth is the only value in life, and Dorian wishes for the painting to age in his place. He falls in love with the singer Sybil Vane and plans to marry her, but then leaves her. When she then commits suicide, he realizes that the painting, as in his wish, is changing in his place. He lives still under the influence of Lord Henry only for his own pleasure and completely irresponsibly, thereby plunging some of his friends into misfortune, and hides the painting, which not only ages in his place but also picks up the traces of his unscrupulous behavior. When Basil confronts him and gets him to show the picture, Dorian kills the painter and blackmails his former friend Alan Campbell into destroying the body. He does so and commits suicide shortly afterwards. James, Sybil Vane's brother, has been searching for him since the death of his sister. When he dies in a hunting accident, Dorian realizes that this was the last person who could have revealed his secret, and that he can remain undiscovered forever, but also realizes how much damage he is doing to other people, and decides to leave his now fiancée Gladys, Basil's niece, to protect her from himself. Movie and original are both very good and have a similar plot, but differ significantly in the details. I prefer the novel, which was considered disreputable at the time. It was also the subject of the indecency trial against Wilde. The movie dispensed with almost all of its already subtle allusions to the character's gay traits. An Egyptian sculpture which, according to Lord Henry, can fulfill wishes, Basil paints it next to Dorian and gives it to him together with a painting, plays a special role in the adaptation. Also shown repeatedly, suggesting that it is responsible for the further course of the plot. In the book there is no magical cat statue. There Sybil Vane is an actress whose acting becomes weaker when she sheds her romantic illusions through her love for Dorian, whom she calls Prince Charming and not Lord Tristan as in the movie. As a result, he loses his fascination for her, and this is the reason he rejects her. Where in the movie he leaves her after seducing her on Lord Henry's advice and is disappointed by her lack of resisting him. Gladys Hallworth is a movie invention based on the novel character Hattie Merton, an unspecified young woman which Dorian leaves for her own good. In the book, moreover, no one guesses his secret. He dies trying to destroy the painting without anyone suspecting him, and is only identified with difficulty by his rings from his servants who find him. In the movie final, Gladys and Lord Henry have become suspicious and find the portrait as Basil painted it. Dorian's face, however, has taken on his distorted features. In 1970, Massimo Dallamano's German-Italian R-rated horror thriller shifts the action to the present day. In this sexploitation crap, Dorian Gray is a jet-setting playboy. His friend Basil paints a picture of him, who is introduced to the high society by art dealer Wooten. While Dorian succumbs to every temptation, his portrait ages instead.
You was the baby of the class, you know. You really didn't know that 1 and 1 was 2, 2 and 2 4.
After Basil's murder, he realizes his fate, which keeps him trapped in ease, and commits suicide.
Really didn't know that. Oh, what a cold soul. Do we not sail on the ship of fools? Why is life so precious and so cruel? I close my eyes and I try to imagine what you're dreaming. Why can't you see what you're doing to me? My world is spinning.
Len Jordan's 1973 US TV film, produced by Dan Curtis, see also among others the Kolchak movies, is once again set in Victorian London.
You were the baby of the class, you know. You really didn't know that 1 and 1 was 2, 2 and 2 were 4. You were the baby of the class, you were so young and so uncertain.
The typical Dan Curtis mix of previous adaptations, original and things pulled out of the hat, see also his Dracula, Frankenstein or Jekyll and Hyde, does contain some specific novel elements, such as parts of the dialogue. However, with the fortitude test of Sybil, suggested by Lord Henry, or the Beatrice character, Basil's invented niece, whose role has also been expanded, it is based on the 1945 version.
Do we not sail on the ship of fools? Why is life so precious and so cruel?
And changes some events, such as the disposal of Basil's body, which is actually done by Ellen Campbell, and adds blackmailing house visits by Sybil's brother, which end in his murder by Dorian, and who is now disposed by Ellen. In the end, Dorian and Beatrice marry, and he dies as usual trying to destroy the painting.
You was the baby of the class, you know. You really didn't know that 1 and 1 was 2, 2 and 2 were 4. He was the baby of the class, he was so young and so uncertain. Suffer little children, oh what a poor soul.
John Gorey's 1976 BBC TV film is generally regarded as the most faithful to the novel. The gay aspect of the relationships, especially Dorian's relationship with Basil and Ellen, which is only hinted at in the novel, is emphasized more clearly here than in most earlier adaptations. But this apparently only applies to the beginning of the story. He leaves out large parts, especially Dorian's travels, sex and drug abuse, and even changes the location of the meeting with Sybil's vengeful brother, which was actually outside a drug den. And he disappears from the story afterwards. In this version there is no hunting accident. His death doesn't even get a lousy mention here, like at least Ellen's. This thing generally feels less like a movie, it's all said and very little shown, and more like a filmed play or something. For the later adaptations, see the same named special.